Hello Sudoku friends. The next few videos will be examples of extreme grids produced by an app on my phone. The app is by the company called Giannina.com, Genina. And the reason I'm mentioning this app is that it tends to generate quite interesting Sudokus that don't look exactly like the standard Sudokus that you get. There are often a lot of givens and they start out easy and then they get progressively more difficult. Admittedly, though, they aren't impossible to solve, especially not if you use pencil marks, which, as you know, I try not to do. I also am not sponsored by Janina.com, nor do I wish to be sponsored, and I don't get paid for mentioning this app. I just thought that it is a nice app and that some of you might want to give it a try. That out of the way, let's see how we do with this puzzle. I copied the grid over from my phone because I prefer solving on my laptop. I also have better recording software on my laptop. So the next 5 or 6 videos will be uploaded this weekend before I go on my upcoming trip, and they will be timed on YouTube to be released at a rate of about 1 video a day. So you're not going to lack videos while I'm away. So what I usually do when I solve these videos is I just scan the entire grid to see if something shows up. In this case, the first thing that grabs my attention is the 2 4s here. They will force a 4 in one of these 2 cells, and this 4 prohibits a 4 from going in this one. Therefore, this is an easy 4. I'm making a mental note that one of these will be a 3, and that one of these 2 will be a 3 as well. And therefore, a 3 probably will go in one of these 3 cells. Scanning onwards, I see the 2 7s here, and this 7, they force a 7 to go in this cell and therefore in the cell up here. These 2 7s now give me a 7 for this cell because this 7 blocks the cell here. And I think we are almost done with the 7s. This 7 here and this 7 and this 7 block all but this cell. Do we have all the 7s? No, we don't. I need a 7 for this block here. And let's see, this 7 blocks these cells. This 7 blocks these cells. And these 2 7s block these 2 cells. Therefore, this is a 7. And now I have all the 7s for the grid. I'm noticing the 5 here and here puts a 5 in one of these cells. Yeah, and actually it has to go here. And can you spot why? Look at the 1 8 here. They block these cells, therefore these 2 must be a 1 and an 8. Therefore, these 2 cells must be a 2 and a 5. And this cell here cannot be a 5 due to the 5 in this column. So this is a 5 and this is a 2. There's only a single 8 in the grid, so we have to work our way around that. But of course, a ghost 8 up here could almost count as an 8. So in combination with the 8 here, the 8 for row 2 will have to go in one of these 3 cells. But that is, I think, getting a little ahead of myself. This 9 and this 9 and this 9 forces a 9 to go in one of these 2 cells here. See if we can figure out which one is going to be. There's a 9 blocking this cell. No, not yet. But as I was talking about the 9 here, I completely overlooked the 9 here and here. They are blocking these cells, aren't they? And the 9 here is blocking this cell, so a 9 will have to go here for the top row. And now one of these 2 must be a 9. This 3 blocks these cells. This 3 blocks these cells, making this a 3. Now looking at this 3 here, giving me a 3 for this row in one of these 2 cells. and therefore blocking these cells. This 3 blocks this cell, and a 3 will have to go here or here. And oftentimes with the puzzles generated by this app, I don't know if I mentioned that it was the extreme level. I only do the extreme level on this app. This is the toughest level available to me. At some point around this time in a puzzle, it gets harder and it gets difficult to spot the next digit. And that's when I usually start to look a little closer than just scanning the grid. I'm looking at the 5 here and the 5 here. They prevent a 5 from going in this cell and in this cell. I'm looking also at this 5, preventing a 5 from going in this cell. Now I know that for this column 4, a 5 will have to go here or here. And then I kind of tell myself, well, let's say I've got a 5. What else do I need to complete this column? I would need a 1, 4, 6, and a 2. Now there's a 2 and a 4 here, so they will have to go elsewhere. There's a 4 here, and therefore a 4 will have to go here or here eventually. And the 2 here and the 2 here forces 2 to go either here or here. I know this sounds a little bit like rambling, but this is how I usually go about solving a puzzle. Of course, I do this in my mind and I do it fairly quickly, but it very often turns out that there is a simple digit to be found when I do it this way. Another way to look at it is that for the 2, 7, and a 9 here, I need to find homes for the 2, 7, and a 9 in this column, and they can't be in these two cells, obviously. So I immediately spot the 7 and 9 are already spoken for. Now I just need to find a home for a 2, and it needs to go here or here. That's all I can say. But the moment I find the next 2 in the grid, this will come back from my short-term memory and I will know exactly where to place the 2 without further consideration. Another way that I find digits is that I'm always interested in things like this. These are locked into a 1 and an 8. And then I start looking, well, if an 8 and a 1 can't go in this cell, where else in this column can they go? And now look at the 1 here, it blocks this cell. Look at the 1 here, it blocks this cell. So this automatically makes this a 1. And now one of these will have to be a 1. And remember how I spoke about the 3 before? Now we got the 3 here blocking these two cells and this 3 blocking this cell. That makes this a 3. Now that we found the 3 here, it helps us find the 1 and an 8 up here, because this 1 now blocks these 3 cells. Therefore, this cell must be a 1 or this cell must be a 1. And that is the reason this cell up here cannot be a 1. It must be an 8, and this must be a 1. We can look at these 3 cells. They need to be a 2, 8, and a 9. There's a 2 here and an 8 here, so this must be the 9, and these two have to be a 2 and an 8, and that makes this cell down here a 9, doesn't it? Now the 9 here and here and here forces a 9 to go in this cell, and the last 9, I believe, of the grid is going to go here. This cell is going to be an 8. So we started out with having only one given 8. Now we have 3 given 8s. And we know that one of these will have to be an 8, and therefore that one of these 3 cells also must be an 8. And we can tell which one, because we need to find an 8 for this column 8. And it can't go here because of this 8 we just found. So the only other available cell in the column for an 8 is here. And that makes this an automatic 2. These two cells now have to be a 2 and a 3. And therefore this cell cannot be a 2. It must be an 8. And this must be the 2. These two cells have to be a 6 and an 8. There's an 8 in the column, so the 6 will go here and the 8 here. And now we're drowning in 8s, aren't we? the 8 here and here and here, block all of these cells. Therefore, this must be an 8. And that makes this an 8 and this an 8 as well. And that's it for the 8s. Let's see, these two have to be a 6 and a 3. These two have to be a 2 and a 3. Here we can do something because there's a 2 already available in the column. So this is a 3 and this is a 2. Given these 2's here, we need to find a 2 for one of these 2 cells. And it needs to be this one because the 2 blocks this cell. So this is a 2. These two now have to be a 1 and a 6. A 1 needs to go in this cell again because this cell can't be a 1 due to the 1 here. And this cell cannot be a 1 because of the 1 already available in this row. So the only place for a 1 in this column is going to be here. And that makes this a 5. And now I think we've got it. The 5 here and the 5 here and the 5 here puts a 5 in this cell. One of these will have to be a 5. I think we mentioned that earlier. And one of these will have to be a 5. These are still a 1, 4, and a 6. The last cell here must be a 6, making this a 6 and this a 6 and this therefore a 3. And that resolves the 3 and the 2 pair we had over here. And now this 2 and this 2 and this 2 block these cells. Therefore, this is a 2. And this, we remember, had to be a 5, this cell or this cell. Now this is occupied by the 6, therefore this is a 5 and this is a 5. A 4 must go here to complete the row, and this 4 is a given now because of the 4 here and here and here. And that puts a 4 here. The last digit in this row is going to be a 1, and given the 1 here, this is now also a 1, and this must be a 3. This is going to be 6, making this a 6 and this a 1. I forgot the cell up here. It has to be a 4. You see how this puzzle got progressively more difficult until a certain point when it kind of solved itself. These puzzles, I like to do a couple of them every day just to keep myself sharp and because they are quite fun to do. I hope that you enjoyed it as well and that you'll be back for more soon. Thank you for watching and bye for now.